Johanna Dernfalk from the Swedish Research Council Formas. Sorry. You will speak about the possibilities then to influence the work programs, or if it's even, but we know that it is possible to do that for you. So maybe we can listen to other ways of influencing now from you. Yes. Johanna, thank you.
Thank you for letting me also to talk a little bit about, we're changing the perspective a little bit, I think. I will talk a little bit about the Swedish engagement, I've called it, in this societal challenge too. This is more of the perspective, I think Britta started with describing a little bit about the horizon, and Barent have been explaining about a little bit about the structure, but I'm just gonna tell you a little bit what happens when the work program is produced, more or less, like a little bit before. Now we talked a lot about what's in it and how to apply and everything, but we are working also in the production of these programs. And I will tell me a little bit more about my role too, but I work at, like you already heard, at the Swedish Research Council Formas, but I will explain a little bit more exactly what I do in this. So, there are formal roles in the Horizon 2020 for all member states. And for Sweden, we have, Britta already mentioned the national contact points. It's Britta and Janne for this societal challenge. Then we have the program committee, and this is all the member states have representatives in the program committee. So there we work, and there the call text and the work program is well, maybe not produced, it's the commission to make it, but we have a discussion about it and we make the formal decision about it. And then, of course, we want all the researchers and SMEs and industry to find them, communicate this program. And then also we monitor, or VINNOVA has the responsibility to monitor and evaluate how the Swedish researchers and industry are doing in this and how much money is flowing in different directions and so on. So this is the formal setup of this work, how it works. And then for Sweden in the program committee structure, this is the program committee, meaning this is all the member states. We have these meetings maybe 4 or 5 times a year. And then from Sweden, we have a member. It's from one of the ministries. And then we have the expert. And that's my role. I'm the expert in this program committee. And then we have the NCPs. They are also working very tight. And then we also have a reference group, very engaged in this work. So this is the formal setup on how we both give input and also communicate back and forth. And this is what we look like. Stefan Kjellman, he works at the Ministry of Enterprise. He is the member, the delegate from Sweden in this program committee. And then me and Jonas Brännström, he also works here at VINNOVA, but he's not here today. We are the experts in this program committee. And then we have Jan and Britta being the national contact points. And the 5 of us, we work very tight together. We try to communicate. We both, of course, communicate about things happening within societal challenge too, but we also work with other societal challenges. Barent also said there are, interactions with energy and transportation and climate and health. So we have interaction with those. And we try to, I think my next slide will show it a bit. We work with a national reference group, and this reference group consists of members from the research society. We have researchers in there, or we have people, maybe they're not one researcher, but they're from the grants office or something. They represent the research society. And then from industry, from public interests of and other relevant actors. It's about 15 persons, and they both they use all their networks to give us input on what's important for Sweden or what is happening in other organizations or areas, or what do we do there. And also we reflect things with them. We have them as we tell what has been happening or what's going on, and then they also help us with communication. but it's we try to have a very open communication and describe what is happening and how and when and about time frames and so. And we really try to focus on areas that are important for Sweden. So it shouldn't be important only for research or only for industry. It should be important for the whole part of Sweden. I think compared to FP7, Horizon 2020 is much more focused on the societal challenges, the innovation. It's very more, I think FP7 was more focused on research. So this is much wider. Like we always, everybody says it's not so many SMEs here, but we really try to involve the industry and the companies and public different interests. So we try to be really broad and lift areas that are important for Sweden. And when we work with this, we also have to act on what other countries think is important. I mean, Sweden is a rather small actor if we are alone, so we have to also to ally with different countries that think same things that Sweden find important. Other countries also find them important. You have to find those partners and, you know, say the same things or find the common interests that we can lift. That's important to remember, that we can't stand alone. Like we always said, it's, you know, having good relations, and it also goes for this, to find partners in to lift different areas or so. So this is how we try to work, and I will show you also a little bit. It's a kind of a complex map actually on how this is built. We'll just show you a very short brief. This is a bit of the time frame of the Horizon 2020. It was launched in 2014. Now we have had this first work program, so now everybody's focused on the next work program that is going to be launched next week. And that's going to continue for 2 years. And this is just, we did, in the program committee, we were working very hard over. We worked with it in the spring and the summer. Then we got, you know, the different call text. We got to see the first versions and the second versions, and we get to get some input, and we could communicate it with our networks. But when it comes to the program committee, it's already, you know, written text. It's already a lot of text that we can see. So we are guessing this is always a bit of a, we don't know exactly the time frame, but there will be, you know, in 2018 we will have a new work program, and the work with that one will probably start sometime during next year. When this one is launched, you know, and it's out, then it's time to start with the next one. It's a long process to write these programs. The commission asks for a lot of input, or they listen to a lot of people. It's a lot of time for different organizations and persons to say what they think is important. So we guess this will start already, you know, in the beginning or mid of next year. We will start with the next program. And now I just talked about the work programs. I don't know if you know the structure of the Horizon 2020 with the strategic programs also. In the strategic programs, they are common for all the different societal challenges, saying this should be included more or less, and then you have one work program for each societal challenge. So that one should also be a new strategic program. And then there is it's a special program committee working with that one. But what I wanted to reflect a little bit about is, this is a little bit of the complex map that we have started to, this is how we see it, but I'm sure maybe you have other also organizations you could add to this, or other arrows or so. The Commission, it's DG Agri and DG RTD that are, they have co-responsibility for this societal challenge. I would say if you want to give, we were talking about lobbying and giving input, and so early input, new ideas, you know, if you have really a lot to say about something, it has to come early, and then it should probably go through some of these. I don't know if you know what JPIs is, Joint Programming Initiatives. For instance, within this area, I would say JPI Oceans, FATSE, AMR, and HDHL. It's water, oceans. This is agriculture in a changing climate, the FATSE. AMR is about antimicrobial resistance, and this is a healthy diet for a healthy life. JPIs are it's big organizations with many different countries, and they work a lot with writing strategic agendas, or they work with lobbying, and they have a way into giving input to the Commission. And we already talked about the BBI, or the or we wrote the BBI, the bio-based industries. And then we have European technological platforms and European innovation partnerships. It's also different ways. I don't know if you're members of any of these platforms or if you know what they are, but there are usually for different areas. There are some, organizations for giving input to the Commission and also working on, doing strategic agendas or roadmaps or so. And then as for this societal challenge, we have an important organization called SCAR, which is a Standing Committee for Agricultural Research. And that one is, it's been an advisory group or advisory board for the Commission since the 70s, working on agricultural research, but it's also including fisheries and forestry, so it's, kind of widening. So this is more of giving early input. I would say in the program committee, we can make small changes, or we can protect changes that have been made, kind of protect, like look at the text and see that things are in there, that we want them to be in there. This is a little bit about the lobby, like we see it, at least at the moment.
Thank you, Johanna. I just have, before everybody comes up again and says, this is, you said, it's quite a complex and daunting picture. So we just said before that if you're new here, if, for example, I'm a small and medium-sized enterprise, and I have a great thing that I think would benefit all of Europe and everything, where should I go?
I would guess you would find, first of all, a national organization for some sort. If you belong to some area, maybe you have some, you can belong to some type of organization in Sweden, and maybe that one also have some European mirror group or some European, interests or contacts, and then you can go through that. I think that's maybe the easiest way when you're a company.
Okay, so go through your contacts again and have...
I would go, that would be my guess, but maybe Britta knows more about for the companies, if there are other ways. But I would guess these also are, it's quite a lot of...
the technology platforms.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, good.